I'm not sure that we have the actual like empirical evidence to say that that once you get your PhD that you don't develop lifelong collaborations, right? Like, I think it's probably really varied. I think some people hold on to some of those relationships that they formed during their PhDs, and some people don't. But I will say, like, I can certainly understand why some people are reticent to hold on to those relationships, because some of those relationships may have been really unproductive, very difficult, very like emotionally challenging, right? There's a lot of power dynamics in the academy. And I know from mentoring dozens of doctoral students that some advisors are really fantastic and some advisors are not. Some advisors give their students a lot of agency, but also direction. And some people, sort of create really toxic, dependent relationships where grad students feel constantly like beat down and never really like they're contributing. And that can feel really icky. Like, why would you want to maintain a relationship with somebody who kind of berated you, constantly? Even if maybe they had like good intentions to try to get you to think better and to be your best self, it doesn't feel good, right? To cultivate or to hold on to a relationship in which you feel really emotionally scarred by. And so, for sure, there are. Those are some of the reasons I think people wouldn't hold on to those relationships. And I think other people, I do try to encourage people, don't like be dependent on your advisor. Really try to have a team of people who are supporting you. When I was in grad school, my advisor was amazing in many ways. And there were ways in which like he wasn't really helpful to me. And so I reached out to other professors. I also reached out to a lot of professors who are emeriti or emeritus status, because they really wanted to engage with students. Like, they were kind of at the part of their career where their legacy is what they're able to pass down to next generations. And so I had coffee with several professors who were like in their 80s and their 90s. And they would read my work and they would give me feedback, and they were like such amazing sources of wisdom. And I didn't have those kinds of like, those power dynamics weren't there in a way, because they had nothing to prove and they had a lot of time for me. So yeah, my advice to people is like, if your relationship with your advisor is not working out, like, make sure you are really diversifying the people who are on your team. And hopefully those relationships will carry on as you pursue your career, regardless of whether you stay in academia or not.
Hello, students and graduates. Welcome to PhD Lounge, the podcast of late night talks in which PhDs have a drink and talk about their research topics. When we research, write, and speak our dissertations to our supervisors, the rule of three is the magical element to deliver what we know about. It helps researchers to write and say things that are clear, effective, and memorable. No wonder why we rely so much on this rule to express ourselves, whether in casual conversations, meetings with our supervisors, or in business conferences. As PhDs, we structure our dissertation into three parts: introduction, main body, and conclusion. However, we are aware of and use this traditional structure to present our work to anyone. Therefore, what other characteristics in the rule of three for PhDs can be clear, effective, and memorable? Number one is strategy. While it is an obvious rule for PhDs, it is still important to talk about it because this is the starting point to begin your research. Having a strategy of how you plan, manage, and deliver your topic from your first year of your doctoral studies and keep it consistent will help you to survive the next years of your dissertation project. It is also recommended that your strategy must be adaptable and balanced, as you will have challenges and uncertainties throughout your PhD journey, as well as identical to the research interests of your supervisor. Number two is management. Even though it applies to diverse contexts within the academic regulations of universities in general, it is rather personal to every candidate. Realistically, you will have to prioritize what aspects of your research can be done first, dealing with the hardest tasks, including case studies, lab tests, or conference attendance, to the easiest ones, such as administration and plan your schedule for the next day. These and other tasks take time, require attention, and have setbacks when you meet your supervisors. And 3 is communication. I don't mean this third characteristic in the context of speaking at a conference or a supervision meeting, even though this is what you do as a PhD. Rather, it is sharing your research to a wider audience. From my personal experience, I've had conversations with undergraduate and masters asking me about what it's like to do a PhD dissertation or advice to make an application for this degree. If you're having these types of conversations, try to treat them as if you are chatting with them at a coffee shop, using plain and simple language to describe your research and your experience. Students enjoy hearing about your doctoral journey if you use a clear language to share your struggles and how you overcame them, and what first steps you advise in case those undergraduates or masters would apply for a PhD. So, the rule of 3 is applied to anything, and we subconsciously live with it. For PhDs, we draw our own journeys with our rules of 3, but these ones are universal and can work when you have a strategy that is clear, effective management, and memorable communication. Thank you all for tuning in. It has been a pleasure.
And being like, okay, this is the animal, this is how you can interact with it, this is what happens, and try to do much of the same is take you with me. And it's all very much kind of quite casual, I guess, in the diary format. And it started actually not even as film or as videos or anything like that. It started as articles. I used to write articles for magazines.
Okay.
It started at school, actually, when I was back in Spain. Then when I moved to boarding school in England, I wrote for the school magazine.